All right, hello everyone. So today we are going to be doing snowflakes. I'm really excited. All right, so we've got our coffee filters. We got our paintbrushes. I like to use paintbrushes that are a little bit bigger than super fine. These are still pretty small, but you want something that's going to put down, you know, a fairly wide line. Think about a big Sharpie. I love using these trays to put my ink into. Those are optional. I got these with some delivery. If you don't have a paintbrush, you can also use Q-tips. These are the inks that I'm going to use today. I might also bring out a food coloring. And then I'm going to use these dishes just to kind of keep the table surface safe. So the main setup is going to be that we take a coffee filter. Take a paintbrush, dip the paintbrush in the ink. This ink is just dried up, so I'd add water. Paintbrush, ink, we go around the coffee filter, and you don't want to go right at the bottom. You want to go a little bit higher up. I'd say maybe about 1 centimeter up. Go around very quickly while the ink is still wet. Drop it in a basin. Now this can be a bowl, this can be anything that will have a little bit of water on the bottom, which is why we've got our water here. And then you just let it sit. And the ink will get pulled up by capillary action with the water, and it will split usually, which gives you all these amazing colors, particularly in the Sailor Haha and the Gray Seas ink. So I'm excited to see how those turn out. Then once the water has drawn up, you're going to take it and put it in a dry area. So you can either put it this way, sometimes I flip them upside down, and that will let it dry. Once they're dry, then we're going to use our scissors to cut them into snowflakes. I've got some food coloring. This is Chef Master liquid gel. So I've got 2 inks which are blue. I think I'm going to do another one, maybe this dark blue. You can also just use the teardrop shape food colorings that you probably have in the back of your pantry somewhere. I'm going to put a little bit, oh my gosh, that's a lot. Put a little bit in there. Add some water. And we can mix it around with this guy. All right. So we've got some blue food coloring over here. And a little bit of water to rehydrate this deep seas. So let's take a paintbrush in here. And we're just going to, I've got a protected surface here. So make sure you're doing this over a safe area. And we're just going to go around really quick. It's going to spread. Maybe it'll drip a little bit, that's okay. Gives it that homemade artsy feel, and then pop it in the water. There we go. Now ideally you don't want the food coloring to end up in the water, because then that is going to transfer ink onto your next snowflakes, but all of my snowflakes are going to be some variant of blue, so I think that's okay. So we just let this sit for a little bit. So as they are getting fully saturated with water, they will expand, of course, and this is where it can be helpful to have some other area to dry them on. Here with the food coloring, it's not spreading a huge amount. I think that's because it's the gel, but you do still see this beautiful purple, really dark blue, and the light blue. Since this guy looks like it's almost ready, I'll put that in there too. Okay. Now I don't really mind if they kind of bleed onto each other, if the colors kind of spread from one to the other, as long as it's not getting on the table. All right, so for this one, I'm going to show you using the Q-tip. This is the Haha ink. I'm just going to add a little bit of that. You don't need a huge amount. All right, now I'm expecting this one to spread just a little bit more than our food coloring did. And we'll see, we can test it out. All right, so we've got some of the green popping up over here. It looks really good. Almost reminds me of like the Northern Lights. You can run through these coffee filters pretty quickly. Now that they're wet, you can also, of course, add some more color. It's not going to spread in quite the same way, but if you wanted to make them a little more colorful, you can do that too. The next thing I'm going to try is this Deep Sea and the Gray Seas, and see how they compare against each other. You can pour some in here. Whoa, that was a lot more than I expected. It's okay. I'll use it for something else. So you might have noticed that this one was a dry ink to start with, and that's because I had put too much ink in there. I used it, and I've actually rehydrated it a few times now, and it works just as well. So don't worry about that. Gray Seas. This is a lot darker color than the Haha. Oh, and these guys are ready to go. Look how bright these colors are. Love it. Okay, so here I've got, this is the rehydrated Robert Oster Deep Sea, which is, as you can tell, a little teal color. I'm gonna add a different color. Maybe I'll add some of that crazy bright food coloring. I've added little bits of the blue food coloring, so hopefully those will have a chance to shine. I really like how the bottoms that we painted on are turning out. You can kind of see that here. So that is how you paint your snowflakes. So have lots of fun with that. Yeah, so very fun, very exciting. And like I said, you can go back in with this is the food coloring. So I might come back in with the food coloring here. I feel like an RT sort of add a bit extra. So we've got some amazing looking snowflakes. I'll see you in just a second. I'm gonna let these dry, then we can come back and I'll show you some fun ways to cut them. So our lovely coffee filters have dried. You can see in this container, this one was resting on top of two others, and the dye sort of spread between them, which is okay. It's totally fine. So what we're going to do is once they're dry, we just sort of spread them out flat. It's really interesting how the colors shift. Here you can see with the Haha ink that there's actually a little bit of like bright yellow in there too, which is super cool. So you've got this purple, this bright yellow, and the green, some pink over here. Oh, and here's the food coloring. That's pretty cool. All right, so once we have all of them and they're flattened out, then we're going to use our scissors. So there might be better ways to fold these, but this is what I like to do. I fold it in half. And with the coffee filters, with the ridges, you can kind of see the good places that are thirds. So you're going to fold 1/3 over. So this would be folding it in half again. But snowflakes have 6 points. So you're going to fold it about 1/3 over. And you don't have to crease it yet. You can fold the other side back over. Try to get them to kind of match up a little bit. So I got to smudge that one. All right. And then when they're roughly the same shape and size, then you can fold that. Now, this is fairly easy to cut at this thickness, but if you want it to look fancier, you're going to fold it in half one more time. This means you're not going to get as intricate cuts, but I think it does look fancier. All right, so then once you've cut it in a few places, then you can open it up. You have a beautiful, look at that, beautiful snowflake. And you can use a book to kind of rest the book on top and press those creases out. So there you go, there's one snowflake. I'll do a couple more designs just to show you what it looks like. But again, these snowflakes are really great because they have these beautiful colors, so you don't need to rely so much on the intricacies of the cutout design. They'll stand out all on their own. Okay, so Zach is saying that snowflakes get their symmetric patterns due to the imbalances in the electric field. So if they're asymmetric, the electric field that they're falling through will encourage them to become more symmetric. It's pretty cool. So I guess maybe subconsciously I was kind of cutting within this ring here, so you can also use elements of your design to emphasize the color that you've added. I think this was some of the deep sea, yeah, so it's got this really faint red. This was the deep sea with stripes of the food coloring. Oh wow, check that out. Flower power. That is pretty rad. Look at that. Oh, it's like a stained glass window or something. Very cool. Our easy to make coffee filter snowflakes. Thanks for joining me. I am so excited that you all now know how to make snowflakes. I hope that you make some. If you do and you want to post them to Instagram, please tag me so I can see them and share them. And just enjoy all the amazing snowflakes that we're creating together. All right, I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for joining me and have happy holidays.